into the hot seat. Like a hot young man.
Oh my goodness, I'm feeling the heat.
You feeling the heat of the seat?
Oh, I'm feeling the heat.
Well. That's because welcome to the Jenkii Show.
Oh,
Episode 5.
episode 5, baby.
Imagine a podcast between David Brent from the UK office and Michael Scott from the US office.
Yeah, so doing a podcast.
Well,
I can't do the US office one. I haven't seen the US office, not enough anyway.
you haven't seen it once the whole way through?
Nah.
Oh, it's comedy heritage.
I've seen clips of it and it's been on when I've been in the room, but
Oh my.
I've not sat there myself.
All the reference points that you must be missing out on.
All of the memes.
Oh my, yeah, those memes must just have no meaning to you.
This is my issue. Like, for ages on TikTok, I was like, what does this mean?
TOC is TikTok for people out there who do not abbreviate it. There'll be people.
Yeah, and I'm literally on TikTok for the first 6 months to a year, and I'm just like, what?
And you're just like,
What
what
is going
language
on?
are these people speaking? Like, what world are they living in, which I'm like not part of?
Yeah, I was like, what does this mean? What does this mean? What does this mean? What does this mean? And then I would upload a TikTok, and then they would be like, cringe, because I've not understood the trend at all. I've just tried to make it from the little perception I have.
That's because
of the situation.
you were in your boomer era.
Oh yeah, I was pure boomer. I was full boomer.
Era. Good era for you.
That literally up until a year ago, if that was boomer era.
You'd been living your boomer life, basically.
Yeah. I mean, because I was like on Instagram and stuff, but then for years, like from the conception of all social media in like 2009, I went through it and then I like basically came off of it for like, I don't know, like 19, 20. And then didn't get back into it till 26.
Yeah.
That's like 6 years of just having your head under a rock, basically.
And I guess it's not like you weren't like watching loads of TV during those 6 years or keeping up to date in other ways with like films or da-da-da-da. So it was like, all this stuff that everyone's like using as cultural touch points and little like references. Yeah. They're just like gone.
I was literally, just went into my own little world.
Yeah, just started creating your own world around it. The Jenkii verse.
The Jenkii verse.
Yeah, wow. What brought us onto that? I can't remember what brought us onto that.
We were just talking about
the US office, right? Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah, exactly. I don't even know like the US office.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's a lot of time investment though, because it's like 9 series.
What's like your best series?
TV series.
Yeah.
Comedy.
Yeah.
There's a lot of big guns here. The UK office is high on that list, and it's always going to be
how high?
It's high. It's high up there.
Oh yeah.
There's a comedy called The Thick of It, which is like a political comedy, which requires you to know a little bit about the ins and outs of politics to kind of understand all the references. But
like Hamilton.
Yeah, a bit like Hamilton with knowing loads about the Founding Fathers.
The Founding Fathers.
This podcast is sponsored by the Founding Fathers.
Sponsored by Early America.
Yeah, and Hamilton.
Hey.
We love, get tickets, right? Yeah, we plugging it? Get a little kickback from that maybe? Yeah, okay.
So we're plugging that, and what's the series that you're talking about?
And The Thick of It, which hasn't existed for a long time now. But if they want to sponsor as well, this is just an example of what we could do with sponsorships. So. Thanks.
Get sync. Yeah, can you just remake the entire episode and use our music, please?
Now that would be good. Now that's what we should do.
God, that's a big move.
If we have a show, we just put all our music in. I remember BBC Radio 1 did something like kind of similar. They took that film Drive.
Oh yeah, and they completely redid the soundtrack.
Yeah, they completely redid the soundtrack, which I think is such a cool idea.
Yeah,
and they got all like brand new original songs, right, from like just loads of different bands who were kind of big at the time.
A Drive was a massive soundtrack anyway.
Yeah. Like, which is why it's a bold move, because it's like
they nailed it the first time.
Yeah, exactly. Became iconic like first time.
And then,
But it was kind of a cool little experiment.
what would you call that sound where it's like, earning a hot, it's like, and it's a night screw, and they're driving, obviously. It's like kind of sad synth wave.
Yes, like synthwave or like vaporwave.
Vaporwave, maybe.
It might be vaporwave. It's kind of like vaporwave E, which is kind of the same with
I'm feeling vaporwaved at the minute.
on my vaporwave era.
Yeah.
Out the boomer into the vaporwave era. Okay, right. Let's get into the meat and potatoes of this. Okay?
Well, I'm vegetarian. I'm vegetarian.
Okay,
so
yeah.
Let's get into
the corn and potatoes of this.
Get me into the portobello mushroom and spiced mashed potato from Nando's, please.
Now you're talking my language. Today we're going to find out something which we've been wondering for years and years.
Okay.
Is Aaron James Timothy Jenkii Johnson.
Oh goodness, that's a lot of J's. Hey, talking about
that's all the J's.
We don't mind J's here.
We don't mind J's. J positive.
Yeah, J positive.
Is he a psychopath?
Oh my goodness.
I've got a test for you.
So my first analysation of the situation is not a psychopath. However,
okay. This is what you're going into it thinking.
This is like if I was to test.
Right, yeah.
And if I was to test myself, this is the result I would give myself.
Okay, yeah.
And I'd say no to psychopath, but certain potential sociopathic tendencies.
Right, okay. So like on the spectrum, you're kind of like towards sociopath.
Yeah, like it's all a spectrum. Like we're all, some of us are just like whatever, plain the same.
Yeah.
But then there are loads of people who are probably pretty successful because of it as well on the sociopath or psychopath. Sorry, same thing.
On both.
On the spectrum.
Yeah.
Because it like just drives certain behaviours and certain ways of thinking and being
so you're like
super driven and stuff.
A moderate sociopath. I think there was a book recently written like 2 or 3 years ago or something, which was kind of discussing how a lot of these high level executives were like pretty much just like full blown sociopaths.
Yeah,
basically.
exactly.
But we're not here to find out if you're a sociopath. We're here to find out if you're a psychopath.
Do you reckon you're on the socio level before we discover if I'm a psycho? There's got to be a few little tendencies in there. Well,
yeah, there's probably like a couple of tendencies in there. But I wouldn't describe myself as a sociopath.
Fairs.
I'd describe myself as a psychopath.
Oh, you would say that? Hey.
No.
That's what they want you to think.
Yeah.
That's the thing. You never know with a psycho.
Yeah, just watch your back. That's what I'm saying. But the real question is, will I have to watch my back? Look at that for a link. Come on. All right. So you've got to imagine that you're a girl for this.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
Yeah? So just get yourself into like the girl mindset.
Hi.
A little lower. You're not like a little girl. You're like a womany girl.
Yo. How you been?
Okay, yeah. I mean, I've never talked to a woman that sounds like that. But yeah. I don't think it matters where you're from.
Okay.
As long as you can relate to them. I want you to feel what this young woman is going to feel.
Yeah, okay. I'm empathising right now. That's the whole test, isn't it?
Yeah.
Am I showing empathy?
Yeah, that's part of it. Who knows what the actual test is? I'm not going to tell you.
Yeah.
But so you're this young woman. What's your name?
Sheila.
Sheila. Classic. Australian?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So this is the story as such. You're at your own mother's funeral. Somber occasion.
Very sad.
Okay. And you meet this guy that you don't know.
Hey.
Well, not too happy, hey.
Oh, okay.
It's your mother's funeral.
Oh.
So,
hey.
Yeah. Hey. Now, this guy is laying on the old charm. And you think he's pretty amazing. You're loving this guy.
I'm feeling quite vulnerable as well.
Yeah, well, you're probably not like...
Because I'm sad about my mum dying.
I mean, you probably are vulnerable, but you're
not. Oh, but I don't realise how vulnerable I am.
You probably don't realise it. Oh, you're enraptured. You're like, yo, I can't believe I've met this guy. Like, this is my dream man.
Okay.
Yeah. Dream man. Imagine your dream man right now. Oh, yeah.
He's
I see you're
a
imagining
wolf.
it. Yeah. I don't know if the camera shows that low.
Hey.
So you're imagining this, you're talking to this guy, dream man, and you're pretty sure that like this could honestly be the love of your life. You're like, this is perfect. I'm buzzing with everything around this situation. However, here we go. This is where it gets a little tricky.
Okay.
For my psychopaths out there. However, she never asked for his name or number. So you never got the name or number.
Oh, I think I've seen this test before, but carry on.
And afterwards, you couldn't find anyone else that knew who they were at all. You were like going around being like, did you see this like super stacked 6'2" like beefcake who was like super charming? No one knows him. A few days later, let me flash out the family bit. What's the father's name? You've lost your right? You've got your father.
So Jake.
Classic Jake.
Jake and Sheila.
Yeah, and what about sister? Little sister in there?
Sally.
Jake had two favourite girls.
Sheila and Sally.
Come on.
Oh.
Sweethearts, right?
Diamonds.
The day after the funeral, you murder poor old Sally. Murdered.
I had to. It had to be done.
It had to be done. I don't know if she was giving a bit of mouth or something. I don't know what it was.
It was necessary for a good reason.
Right, okay. It was necessary for a good reason. So, the big question. Why? I'm the police interrogator. Why did you kill her? Why, Sheila?
And do you want my answer?
I do want your answer.
Because I really wanted to see that man again, and I didn't have his name or his number, but I knew that he would be at a funeral.
Oh, you were hedging bets that he'd come to the funeral?
Oh, he would be at the funeral.
Well, there's many ways to answer this question. But there's one answer which suggests that you might be a little bit of a psychopath.
Oh no, what's the answer?
That answer is that you killed your sister in cold blood just to get laid.
Don't tell me. Don't tell
That
me.
is that. So there's two questions, but this is the first one, and this is the one which you have already fallen at this first hurdle. So you are a bit of that thought process is a bit psychopathic.
It was too quick to be like, well, it just makes sense.
Yeah, it's like, well, maybe he'll turn up at all the rest of my family's funerals if I just keep killing them. Because I guess the psychopath doesn't care about killing their family. Well, you know.
We'll see.
I don't want to get on his bad side. So. Right, this second one. A runaway trolley is about to run over and kill 5 people.
Oh, goodness.
5. Little Jimmy, big old Jason from down the heath, Sally, Sheila, and Sarah. However, you're standing on a footbridge next to a larger stranger, just matey boy, not even giving him a name, stranger.
Stranger thing.
And he's a big guy.
He's a bear. Or is he a chub or a bear?
He's a chub.
Oh, he's massive.
Yeah, for people who don't know what a chub is, that's a term for a super big gay guy.
Like 6'6" and
just like
stacked.
And they could just like have a massive gut. Like they don't have to be like fit
it doesn't
or
have to be like Thor or
Yeah.
Thanos.
Yeah.
Just a big, like bigger than a bear.
Yeah, just like the biggest guy.
You see them and you're like, wow.
You're like, Fairs, that guy's a big guy.
Yeah, tall and stacked.
Yeah. We love Chubbs. This is a pod sponsored by Chubbs.
The Chubbcast.
Although, wait until you hear the end of this question.
Okay.
Because you're standing next to a Chubb up on that bridge.
Okay.
Right? Now, your body's too light to stop it. If you jumped in front of this thing off the bridge, it would just plough straight through you, rip you to pieces, and then kill little Jimmy and Big Jason from the wreck and the rest of them, right? So that would just be suicide for no good reason. However, if you push the stranger onto the tracks, killing him, like, he'll die on the fall, but he'll clog it up, and the 5 people will be able to live. Would you push the man?
Do you know what? That's so hard to answer without context. Like, if it was a complete random stranger,
Right. Which is?
And then, so who are these 5 people? Are they like really dear to me?
No, they're just 5. It's Sheila, Sally, Sarah, little Jimmy, poor little Jimmy, and Big Jason from down the wreck. But he's like a gentle giant.
But I know these 5 people. I've got a connection with them.
No, you can just kind of tell it about them.
So basically to kind of really reduce this, it's, would I sacrifice the life of one person for 5 people?
Yeah, will I actively sacrifice it by actively getting this guy and pushing him off? He's probably going to struggle a bit.
Yeah, no.
But you're still going to get him off.
I don't. I think I'd just be like, oh, it is what it is.
What are you going to say to the 5 families when they say...
I'd be like, oh, I'm really sorry, it was a really nasty accident.
Why did you forsake my child? And you say, it is what it is. Little Jimmy had to go.
Yeah.
He's had his Christmas dinner.
How can I explain to someone that I murdered someone to save their child? Like,
well,
if I looked at the guy and the guy was like, and like within that split second moment, we had that connection and we're like...
Oh, he was just being a calm guy.
He was literally like, I'm going to jump off anyway. Do you want to do the honours?
Oh.
I would be like,
no, he's definitely not saying, please throw me off this thing.
Yeah, well, in which case then, yeah.
He's just a passerby. He's whistling in the air. If I could whistle, I'd be...
Yeah, like, in that moment, why would I go through the effort of killing one person to save 5? It'd be such a quick decision, and plus it might not even work.
No, you know it will work. You have that knowledge.
Yeah, do you know what? Again, it's one of those things where, like, I'm saying no now. Maybe in the moment, like some weird adrenaline would take over, and suddenly I'm like, oh my god, if I push him, I could actually save those 5 people. Maybe if
maybe you've got some time.
Do you know what? Maybe if this fella was older and he was like 70, and I'm like, that's 5 young, thriving people there.
Yeah, well, Big Jason from the wreck, he's not... You can tell he's a bit of an older fella.
But I'm saying...
young Jimmy...
But if it was like one 70-year-old for like 5 70-year-olds, I'm like, just bear 70.
Right, yeah.
Nothing wrong with being 70. I'm looking forward to it. But
no, but...
at that point, you should be so peace and at peace with the mind where you're just like, I've had 70 years.
You'd be all right with that, you reckon?
Yeah. And I'm saving... But if it's like...
But then you could say 5 people being like, I'm kind of buzzing. Get rid of one. Imagine they were all the same age. They were all 32.
So you're choosing which 30-year-olds?
Yeah, so they've still got loads of life left, like crazy amounts of life left. 5 crazy amounts of life for one little 32-year-old bloke who's just walking around and he's saying like, I don't know, maybe he spits on the road. So he doesn't think you're looking or anything, but you just like, little spit take.
Yeah, do you know what? It sounds really bad, but the only way I can see myself being the sociopath or the psychopath in this situation is if one of those women was super attractive. And then I'm like, I could potentially like wife this person if I push this dude and save her. That's the only way I could feel a bit of the sociopath of the mind.
Right, yeah,
in.
That's not...
I keep saying sociopath.
Yeah, psychopathic. That's not what would make you a psychopath. I don't know what that would make you. That would just make you horny, pretty much. So
a hornopath.
A hornopath, yeah. I've been diagnosed as a hornopath.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
I can't be the only one.
There's dozens of us.
We're a species.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So you're reckoning you're not pushing the guy
realistically off? No, I'm not going to do it.
Wow. So you've fallen at the first hurdle, but you've scraped it back on the second one. So pushing the guy off actually shows... It doesn't make you a psychopath, but it is like more veered towards the psychopath end of the spectrum. Because you're like actively just... This is spartering someone with the thing. in like kind of like in cold blood, but like you are saving 5 more people. So the term is utilitarian ethics, which is like the greatest good for the greatest number, which it would be. But in this case, they do say that there's a little correlation between pushing the person off and being a psychopath. So you're like, we're going to put you into like quarter to half psychopath.
Yeah.
Good odds, you've done well.
There, that situation there. But I'm surprised that the thing about like fancying one of them wouldn't make it psychopathic.
Yeah, I mean, maybe.
Because then that would be a psychopath, because then you're literally choosing to kill someone just to get a
laid.
chance.
Yeah, I think it might be.
Which is exactly what we said in the first one. The first one was all about getting laid for
So that
would be, I'd refer back to the first.
Yeah, it's just the same thing.
So
I guess that's probably why they don't specify it in that one.
Because it just sounds like the first one. Yeah.
So yeah, okay.
So that's the only condition in which I would become a
so
psycho.
that would change you from quarter to 3/4% psychopath.
Wow.
That actually sounds about right.
Gee, no. I'm 75% the way there.
Please, everyone, comment below about this, about if you think this guy's a psychopath. look at his face and just, I don't know.
What are you saying?
Nothing behind those eyes, you know. Just thinking about who you can chop up next.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just thinking.
Oh, I bet he's going to enjoy eating that pickle. That's what he's thinking about me.
All right, but now you've got to answer them just to wrap this whole thing up.
Well,
just you need to provide some sort of moral ground.
Right, yeah. So it's kind of tricky because I already know all of them, and I've asked people them. But so for the first one, right? Okay, bummer. I've met this dude. Why killing the sister is just such an insane thing to go to first, right? There's got to be another way that you could find out about this guy.
Yeah, you could talk to. So there's like no one there.
No one knew him, and you're wondering like, how did my mother know him? Probably. I'd almost like want to go through her contacts or something to try and find him. It feels a bit of a weird thing to do anyway, but to go to the point of killing my family just because there's a dream boat of a bloke. Yeah, I think that's what it is. I think there might actually be another definition or like some examples, right? Second one. I'd probably push the guy.
You would?
Yeah, I think I would.
You'd be like, oh, do you know what? This is a really good opportunity to save 5 people.
Yeah, I would just be like, can I really just stand there and watch 5 people die? Maybe if I want to go down as a legend, this is the way you play it. I throw the guy off, but just as he's falling off, I grab onto him. So I've pushed him and like carried on my arms going, and we go down to our death together. And it looks like I've sacrificed myself with him.
Oh, fairs.
But in that scenario, I do have to die, which like really sucks because I'm not buzzing about that. But otherwise, I'm like a murderer, so I don't know. That's tricky.
That's so weird. Yeah, to be a martyr, to actually choose to be a martyr.
Yeah, maybe I'd have to choose to be a martyr.
Because a psychopath wouldn't really want to die themselves, but someone who's just crazy enough to die and take their own life with it. For the sake of like you've got to be pretty insane to do that, even though it's the greater good thing.
Yeah, there's instances of like people in the army who have like jumped on live grenades, even though like they didn't have to jump on the live grenade. Like if they had maybe slipped down the hole, just the other people would have died. But if they can get on top of it, then it all just goes into them. So like, yeah, people do just be self-sacrificing.
That's mad.
In reality, I'm probably not. Let's be honest. In reality, I'm pushing the guy and I'm trying to spin it as I'm a hero.
Yeah.
Because I guess I kind of could, but then people would just search it up and be like, oh my God, this guy's actually a psychopath.
Jeez.
So I don't know, I'd get cancelled in the end, but
wow.
That's that.
Gosh. Right, well, in the comments below, who's more of a psychopath out of us two?
Yeah, I feel like I didn't do my case well at the end there. Whoops.
Well, you guys get to vote on that one.
Hey, that's the end of episode 5 of The Jenkii Show.
The Jenkii Show.
Brought to you by America's Founding Fathers and Psychopaths everywhere. And Hamilton.
And whatever the other show was from earlier.
And The Thick of It, which was decommissioned in about 2015. Things can only get better. Peace out.